Hello everybody, my name is Ronak Randhawa. I'm a system engineer here at Prolim. Today I have a presentation on Solid Edge Teamcenter Integration and how we can work with Teamcenter managed documents. We will start by understanding some of the basic Teamcenter terms and how we can connect Solid Edge to Teamcenter. I'll also talk about how we can manage structures and document releases. I'll finish by showing how we can revise documents. Let us start by understanding some of the basic Teamcenter terms. Teamcenter uses objects to store information that describe each Solidus document in addition to storing the document or file itself. An item is a commonly used workspace object that captures the metadata describing all the associated revisions. An item revision captures the item revision specific metadata. A dataset captures the document specific metadata and it holds the physical document itself. Dataset can capture unique documents such as assembly file, part files, document files, PDFs, etc. If you want to think of these objects in terms of hierarchy from top to bottom, it would be item, item revision, and then dataset. You can view this hierarchy from Teamcenter Active Workspace client. Each object is represented by a unique image, and as you expand each level, you can see the structure. Once you reach the item revision, you can see more than one dataset. Each object must have a unique identifier. For item, it is called the item ID. For item revision, it is called the item revision ID. Let's move on how we can connect to Teamcenter. When you work with Teamcenter managed data, you use the same commands that you normally would in Solid Edge. When Teamcenter is enabled, Solid Edge automatically adjusts the user interface as needed to provide you access to Teamcenter function. This normally changes the user interface in the following ways. When browsing for Solid Edge files, you are presented with the data from Teamcenter. You will see a similar presentation in Teamcenter Paths Library tab and in most other places where you need to access data. If you want to change the behavior so that you're no longer accessing Teamcenter but accessing the local file system instead, you must close all Solid documents. You can then deselect Teamcenter. This will bring you back to unmanaged Solid Edge. Now, when a new document is created, you're prompted to upload them to Teamcenter. This is accomplished through a variety of common property dialog boxes, such as the new document or upload dialog box. When you save files, they're only saved locally to your cache. But when you close the document, it is checked into Teamcenter. Let's try to understand the cache. Now, when you're working with Teamcenter integration for Solid Edge downloads the viewed document to your local cache to improve performance. The local download area is called cache. The cache is a folder in the Windows file system where a copy of each file is kept. When you open a document, Solid Edge automatically manages the synchronization between documents stored in Teamcenter and the documents in your local cache. Solid Edge checks your local cache to see if the local document is up to date with the version of documents in Teamcenter. The Cache Assistant is also connected to Teamcenter in the integrated mode. The Cache Assistant command displays the Cache Assistant dialog box. You can use the options on the dialog box to filter the display of the contents of the cache, synchronize all documents in Teamcenter, check out documents in Teamcenter, check in documents you have checked out, download documents from Teamcenter to your local cache, or delete documents from your local cache. Let us see these functions in a live environment. So I have my Solid Edge open right now. I'm at the embedded Active Workspace client for Solid Edge. This is my home page, and I'll be using Active Workspace to access all the managed documents. Let's take a look at a screw. Right now I'm at the item level. This item has properties and metadata associated to the item. For example, we have an item ID. This is a unique ID. In the revisions section, you can see we have two revisions here, revision A and revision B. If I go into the revision A, we will see properties and metadata associated with revision A. This revision has a unique revision ID, which is revision A. There are other properties associated with it. For example, the release status for this revision is TCM released and it's released right now. If I go under the attachments tab, I'll see all the data sets associated with revision A. Going back to the item level, if I go into the revision B, I will see all the metadata and properties associated with revision B. And under the attachments tab, we can see the data sets associated with revision B. Now let us see how we can disconnect or connect to Teamcenter from Solid Edge. Under the Files, Manage, there's a Teamcenter button to turn off the Teamcenter integration or turn it back on. Right now, we are integrated with Teamcenter. All the documents we are accessing are from Teamcenter. If I turn off this integration, I'll be accessing documents from within my local machine. Under the Teamcenter button, you have your Cache Assistant, and right now I have all the documents listed here that I have viewed in Solid Edge. We can perform multiple actions on these documents. For example, I can select multiple documents here and update the status info or synchronize with Teamcenter. I can also check in these documents or check them as a new item into Teamcenter. I can download documents from Teamcenter into my local cache. I can also create a package of all the documents in my local cache. There are other commands I can perform as well from the Cache Assistant. In most instances, you do not need to use these commands. However, if you need to update or change the cache in some way, make sure to use the Cache Assistant and not attempt to modify the cache by manually changing the data in Windows folder on disk. Let us move forward on how we can manage structure within Teamcenter. A structure is a hierarchy of each of its components arranged in a parent-child relationship. Using Active Workspace, you can manage product structure that are created in Solid Edge. For example, when a Solid Edge assembly is saved to Teamcenter, the assembly occurrence structure is written to Teamcenter and can be viewed with Structure Manager. You can use revision rules to control the configuration of the information displayed in the editor. You can use Active Workspace to search within Structure, view Structure, and maintain the structure that is stored in Teamcenter. You'll also have the functionality to find where an item is used in a structure, browse through the structure in several different navigation mechanisms, including breadcrumbs, familiar tree, tiles, and tables. You can also add or remove an element to or from a structure. You can edit the properties of a structure element and the objects the element is an occurrence of. You'll have the capability of visualizing the assembly in context of the product. You can also compare and duplicate the assembly structure. So right now I'm in the embedded Active Workspace client for Solid Edge. I'm at my home page. If I wanted to open an assembly, I could select the assembly and use the Open in Solid Edge command or use the drag and drop functionality to open the assembly. So this will open the assembly in Solid Edge. And if I wanted to manage my assembly structure, I can open the assembly in Active Workspace and this will give me a structure view of the assembly. I have the options to view the structure in tree format or tree with summary. First, we'll take a look at the tree structure of the assembly. On the top here, I have various commands to manage my assembly. In order to expand the assembly, I can use the expand command to expand all the components of the assembly. I have the add command here to add a child sibling to the assembly. I can edit the structure by removing or replacing a part, inserting or removing a level in this assembly. I also have the find function to look for a part within assembly. For example, if I look for a 62 part here, it will return me the LED work light that is present within the assembly. I also have the options to use the configure command. For example, I wanted to configure this assembly based on revision rules. I can use this configure command. We have the expand command to pack, unpack, or expand or collapse the assembly. The compare command is used for comparing assemblies and their configurations, but we'll come back to this in a bit. I have the edit command here on the far right to edit the occurrence property of an assembly. This will allow me to edit properties, for example, sequence, quantity, revision name, description. We can add the unit of measures here and define whether it's the precise or imprecise assembly. Let us try to compare assembly now. So right now I have the same assembly open in both sides of the split window. On the right hand side, I have the revision rule set to latest working. On the left hand side, I'll set this to working any status. So at this point, they have two different revision rules, and I can use the compare command to compare these configurations. For this example, I'll select all levels to compare, and depending on what I want to see, the compare command will return me the result and show me the differences in the assembly. On the left hand side, you can see that we have these three parts that are at revision A, and on the right hand side, we have the same three parts at revision level B. Similarly, you can use this compare function to compare configurations of assemblies and find the differences between them, find the unique parts and sub-assemblies in the left view or right view of the assembly. Going back to my tree with summary, we will see how we can view the assembly in 3D. In the view with summary settings, you can view the components and assembly in detail. For example, if I select the electrical wiring, I can see the electrical wiring in 3D model here on my right hand side, and the rest of the components will be transparent at this point. I can also go over to the overview tab to see the metadata of the item revision for the electrical wiring. Under the attachments tab, I'll find the physical data set for the electrical wiring. You can use the visualization to manipulate views, query, measure parts and features, view parts and assembly level products. You can also duplicate the assembly structure using the duplicate command. By using this command, you can duplicate the assembly structure and also perform actions while duplicating it. For example, I can perform actions like remove, replace, save as, or clone on sub-assemblies or components. Discard. Now let's see how we can release documents that are managed within Teamcenter. Teamcenter has a number of tools designed to enable administrators and users to work together to manage document releases. Administrative tools allow the administrator to design workflow process templates that define practices and procedures that meet their business needs. End users use these templates to take documents through the release cycle. Workflows are a series of required tasks, such as approvals and reviews, performed on an object, such as a part, document, or a change. The workflow contains tasks related to types of workflow launched for the object. Each task are automatically sent to the responsible participant's inbox. Once the work is complete, the object is released from the workflow. This workflow has a self-review task and a checker review task. And once both these tasks are complete, the document is released and assigned a released status. You can see that released status in Solid Edge. Solid Edge displays icons in Pathfinder, Read Only Assistant, Cache Assistant, the Open File dialog box, and the File Property dialog box to represent statuses of the documents within Teamcenter workflows. In Teamcenter, you have the capability to create custom workflows along with customized statuses and images that can be displayed in Solid Edge. When a part is released, it cannot be edited. The part has to be revised to make any changes. You have two options to revise Teamcenter managed documents. The first one is the revise command that displays the revised document dialog box with the next revision automatically presented to you. The second one is the revision command that displays the revisions dialog box so that you can view the revisions of the document and specify a new revision. Let's take a look at these functionalities and Teamcenter integration for Solid Edge. Right now I'm again at my home page in my Active Workspace embedded client. And for this, I'll be using the same assembly. Now, if I expand this assembly and go over the parts, I'll see that I have this complete motor brushless subassembly that has been released. And we can see the checkered flag here that states it has been released to TCM released status. If I wanted to take a deeper look on how this subassembly was released, I can open the subassembly and take a look at its details. On the Overview tab, you can see the properties for this subassembly. It states that it has been released here. And if I go over the Workflow tab, we'll see all the details listed here. In the middle here, I see all the current and completed tasks and the details for those tasks, with whom it's been assigned to, who's completed the task, what's the status for the task. And we also have the options to see the comments here. In this section below, we can also see the flow of the workflow. Let's take a look at the assembly in Solid Edge. So now, when I have this assembly open in Solid Edge in the Pathfinder for the released subassembly or parts, I'll see an icon here, a checkered flag here as well that states it's been released. If I try to edit one of these parts, uh, on the read assistant, I'll also see the same notification saying that it has been released and the status is TCM released. At this point, I can revise this part to make changes to this part. So we have two options here. The first one is revise. This will directly revise the part and fill out all the properties for you. The second one is the revision. In this revisions dialog box, I can see all the revisions related to adapter ring and its properties. I have two revisions here for adapter ring, revision A and revision B. The revision A has been released and revision B is still not released. I also have the option to create a new revision here. So this is how you can manage document releases, view document statuses, and revise documents in Teamcenter integration for Solid Edge. With this, I will end my presentation. Thank you all for coming today. Hope you all enjoyed the presentation. I will open it for any questions now.